Okay, welcome to lecture 8. Let us solve one example. I have a plane stress element like this, which is subjected to sigma x is equal to 64 megapascal, sigma y is equal to 32, sigma x is compressive, and we also have tau xy. Tau xy is in this direction. Tau xy, that is equal to 20 megapascal. We want to know what is the state of stress corresponding to this coordinate system. Okay, so this is my x, y. Want to know with respect to this. This angle is equal to 60 degree. 60 degree. So I know you have solved some of the examples which look similar. So let's see what we can get from this problem. So we want to find out what is sigma x. Sigma x is equal to, we know that it is sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 into cos 2 theta plus tau xy sin 2 theta. So what is the value of theta here? Theta is equal to, this is the angle theta between x and x axis. It is equal to 30 degree. Therefore here it is equal to minus 30 degree. Okay, so I can substitute here. I get minus 64 plus 32 by 2 plus minus 64 into cos minus 60 minus 20, tau xy is minus 20 sine minus 60. This is equal to minus 22.7 megapascal. Similarly, I can get sigma y from the equation. I can get it equal to minus 9.3 megapascal. And tau xy is equal to minus of sigma x minus sigma y by 2 sine 2 theta plus cos 2 theta into tau xy, which is equal to 51.6 megapascal. That is negative. That is negative. Okay, fine. Now we can get what is sigma 1 and sigma 2 from this. Sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus minus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus tau xy square. I get sigma 1 is equal to 36 megapascal and sigma 2 is equal to minus 68 megapascal. Okay, so these are the principal stresses, maximum and minimum values of the principal normal stresses. Okay, tan 2 theta p, which is the equation for obtaining the principal direction, is obtained by 2 tau xy divided by sigma x minus sigma y. So that is minus 2 into 20 by minus 64 minus 32. 2 theta p is equal to 22.62 and theta p is equal to 11.31 degree. Now this is the routine step we have followed. Now can we tell is it possible for us to tell which principal stress is associated with this direction of theta p? Okay, can we tell which direction? This direction is given by some theta p. That means if I take the element like this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. Now I will say that theta p 11.31 degree. So if I just rotate this x-axis like this, so along this line I get some value. So this is the value of theta p. So I get which one I get, whether I get sigma 1 or I get sigma 2. This is the question. So can you answer this? Which principal stress is associated with this direction of theta p? Which principal stress is associated with this direction, that is theta p is equal to 11.31 degree. So what should we do to that, get that? Can you tell me which one? Is it sigma 1 or sigma 2? Which one is associated in this direction? Is it possible? Anyone can try? Okay.
Sir,
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sigma 2, sir.
How do you know? How do you know?
Sir, because its absolute value is greater than sigma 1.
So what?
So,
Is that some physical interpretation? Because sigma 2 is greater means you should always get theta p.
mm,
So what made you think like that? Was there any, do you have any physical reason for that?
no, sir, I thought that the the larger one should be there. I thought.
Okay. So what we can do is that we can substitute theta p in the equation of sigma x equation. So that is, I can get sigma x corresponding to theta p is equal to minus 64 plus 32 by 2 sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 cos 2 theta p is 22.62 minus y minus, because minus 20 tau xy is negative, minus 20 sine 22.62. So here we get this value is equal to sigma x at theta p is equal to minus 68 megapascal. That is actually equal to sigma 2. Okay. Therefore, this one is equal to sigma 2. And the direction is, sorry?
sir, can we draw some interpretation from the Morse circle?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, that is possible. Now just we are understanding from the equation how it is possible to know which one we have to write, because now I'll come to that here. So now what is the direction of sigma 1? Acts perpendicular to sigma 2. That means you know the angle, right? Okay. Now let us say that I'm writing the element now. So this is now equal to sigma x, sigma y, tau xy. Okay, so this actually transforms to, when I rotate this, so this actually is rotated like this, with this angle is equal to theta p, and the stresses here are, what are the stresses here? This is sigma 2 and this is sigma 1. Okay, this is the element, it looks this way. So this is direction 2 and this is direction 1. It's always perpendicular, right? And where does this tau max act? Tau max act where? Where do you get the tau max?
At 45 degree angle with theta p.
Acts 45° apart from the principal direction. Okay, so what is theta s then? Theta s is equal to theta p plus 45°. That is 45 plus 11 point something, it is coming around 56.3 degree. So this is the direction of the shear stress. Now, if you want to know this, you want to solve this using the Mohr circle, it's easier. Now, this is sigma axis, this is tau axis. Now the values are, where is the center? Center is, where do you get the center of this Mohr circle? What is the center? Huh?
minus 16.
Minus 64. What is the center of the Mohr circle for this? Or let us say I want to just draw this. Let's say I want to first locate sigma x and tau xy. Sigma x is negative, so I go to the left side of this vertical axis, minus 64 and minus 20. So this is the point somewhere I get here. This is point A. I call this as, let's say this is equal to what? Sigma x comma tau xy, that is equal to 64 minus 64 comma minus 20, and point B is sigma y comma tau minus tau xy. Sigma y is 32 somewhere here, and minus of minus 40 is you get somewhere here. So this is point B corresponding to sigma y comma minus tau xy. Join this, join this, join this. So this is the center. This is the center. So what is the coordinate of the center? This is sigma y is 32 comma 20. Yeah. So what is the coordinate of center?
Minus 16,
Minus
Minus
16, 0.
60.
minus 16 comma 0. Okay. Okay. Now I can draw the Mohr circle. I know the radius. I can find out the radius, or I can just measure this. Considering geometrically, I can construct this circle. Okay. So this is the Mohr circle. Fine. Now this corresponds to x and this corresponds to y, xy axis. Now my interpretation is, now I have I can get what is the at 60° minus 15° I can get easily. But let's say this is sigma 1. What is sigma 1? Sigma 1 is equal to the coordinate of center, that is sigma m plus r. Sigma 2 is equal to sigma m minus r. Okay, these are the values of sigma 1 and this is sigma 2. Okay, so this is the angle we are interested in. Okay, that means this is the angle. This is the angle. So this is my 2 theta p. Agree? This is 2 theta p, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is with respect to sigma 2, right? X-axis is making an angle 2 theta p with sigma 2. So easily we can obtain the direction of sigma 2 from the x-axis. So that is what our theta p gives, right? But if you go to the other one, this one, if I want to, for example, from here to here, I would like to measure, right? That is 2 theta p. It is actually, sorry, not this one. I mean to say between these two. Between these two. So what is the angle?
Pi plus 2 theta p.
Pi plus 2 theta, or it is pi by 2 plus theta in the actual element. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's how we can get what is the orientation of the Mohr circle, what is the orientation of the principal stress can easily be obtained with the help of this Mohr circle. Otherwise, we have to substitute the value of the corresponding theta p, the principal direction angle value, and get which principal stress is corresponding to which direction. So that's why we can easily go by the Mohr circle in order to plot that. So I hope this problem is clear to you now. So shall we take up one more problem on Mohr circle or we move ahead?
So please take one more problem.
Okay. Fine, because it looks repetitive. That's why I just asked before taking. So another example. So what I'm having here is that this is a very simple example. This is the sigma x is 110, sigma y is 50, and I have this is 40. So I'm writing only in one side, on the right side only, but it obviously means that the left side of this also has the same values. So don't be under the impression that these are 0. Okay, so because last year I have seen many students making that mistake. So they take 110 minus 0 by 2 average of these, some kind of new ideas people have adopted because they are same. Otherwise there will be no equilibrium. Fine. Now I want to know what is the state of stress corresponding to another axis. So this is my x-axis, y. This is capital X. This is capital Y. So this makes an angle of 45 degree. Usually we take 45 degree, which is some kind of importance is given to that. So let's see why we do that. Now we can easily find out with the help of equation, we can find out what is sigma x, that is equal to 110 plus 50 by 2 plus 110 minus 50 by 2 into cos 2 theta. 2 theta, this is theta is equal to 45 degree, and then plus tau xy is 40 sine 90. Okay, so this is equal to how much? This value will be 0 because 2 theta is 90 degree. Therefore, I get this sigma x is equal to 160 by 2 plus 40. 160 by 2 is 80. 80 plus 40, that is 120 megapascal. And similarly, sigma y is equal to 80 minus 40. 80 minus 40, that is equal to 40 megapascal. Tau xy is equal to minus of sigma x minus sigma y by 2 sine 2 theta plus tau xy cos 2 theta. So this will be equal to 0. Therefore, I get this value is equal to minus of 110 minus 50 by 2, that is equal to minus 30 megapascal. Okay, so the center of the circle is equal to sigma x plus sigma y by 2, which is equal to 80 comma 0, I mean to say. and the radius is equal to square root of sigma x minus sigma y by 2 square plus tau xy square, which is equal to square root of 110 minus 50 by 2 square plus 40 square. This is equal to, how much is this? 60 by 2, 30, 30 square plus 40 square under root is 50.
The center should be 45.
Is it?
Yes, sir. Because we are taking sigma small x plus sigma small y.
Yeah, exactly. That is 110 and 50 by 2.
Okay. Sorry.
So why should it be 40?
No, sir. I just miscalculated.
It's okay. So it is R is equal to 50. Now I can consider the rotated element. The rotated element looks like this. So here I have what is the value of sigma capital X 120. So one that is interesting. Even if you take sigma x plus sigma y by 2, then also you get 80. Right? So not necessary that you consider sigma small x and sigma small y, because for getting center, this is an invariant, right? I can also choose sigma capital X plus sigma capital Y by 2. I get with the same thing. Okay. So this is 120 and this value is 40 and the shear stress is minus 30. Okay. So this is the way the element looks. This is 45 degree. 45 degree. Now let's come to the Mohr circle. So I can draw the Mohr circle first. Mohr circle. Bit lower. Okay. So first I locate sigma x tau xy. All values are positive. I get this is sigma x comma tau xy, and I get sigma y comma minus tau xy here. Join these two. This is the center. The center is at 80 comma 0. I can complete this circle. This is x and this is y. So what is 2 theta p here? This is 2 theta p, right? So what is this angle? I can easily find out. Graphically I can measure, right? I can easily measure it graphically. That is tan 2 theta p is equal to what? Let's say I call this as point A, this is C, and let's say this is J. Tan 2 theta p is equal to AJ divided by CJ. What is the value of AJ?
40.
AJ is 40 divided by CJ. CJ is sigma x minus sigma y by 2. Or I can just measure this with the help of a scale. But what is this value? 30. Okay. So I know this is the angle. Therefore, I can say that 2 theta p is equal to 53.13 degree. Sorry. Okay. Now want to know these values with respect to 45 degree rotation. With respect to the element, the x-axis is rotated, small x is rotated by 45 degree in the counterclockwise. So what should I do here in this xy line? I should rotate it in the clockwise direction, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is the rotation I am making. So this angle is 90 degree because the given angle is 45 degree. Theta is 45. Therefore, we made a rotation of this. So this is my sigma x tau xy, and this is sigma y and minus tau xy. Okay. Now I can find out sigma x, sigma capital X is equal to center, that is sigma x plus sigma y by 2. This is the mean normal stress, plus we have to add this distance here. I can say that this is equal to r cos 2 theta p minus 2 theta. This was the equation we derived yesterday, right? So we can get that. So this is my 2 theta p, this is my 2 theta p, and this is my 2 theta, that is 90 degree. So this is 2 theta. Okay, so that means I get this angle. I get this angle. Fine. R cos that angle theta. So this is equal to 110 plus. You can measure from here by using the scale. Also, you can measure if you are drawing it to scale by 2 plus R is 50. 2 theta p is 53.13 minus 90. So I can easily get the value of sigma capital X is equal to 120 megapascal, and similarly I can use sigma y is equal to this sigma x plus sigma y by 2 minus r cos 2 theta p minus 2 theta. So that is equal to 40 megapascal, and tau xy is equal to what? Tau xy is equal to what in this expression? So this angle is equal to 2 theta p minus 2 theta. That means let's call this angle is equal to alpha. I can call this is equal to r radius into sine alpha. Radius into sine alpha will give me the value of tau capital xy. That is r sine alpha. That is equal to r sine, no, smaller. R is equal to how much? R was equal to, what was the value of R?
50.
Sorry?
50.
50, right? Yeah. It is 50 into sine 53.13 minus 90. This is the value of alpha. So this will be equal to minus 30. Minus 30. That is the value of tau capital X. I can measure it from here itself because it is in the below the sigma axis in the negative tau direction. So therefore I can say that tau xy is equal to minus 30. Therefore I can obtain the value of these also from the Mohr circle. So either way it's same. We can do it using the Mohr circle graphically or by using the expressions that we have derived. So you end up in getting the same kind of things, right? So is this clear? Now let me go to another interesting situation where I have this is the element. Let's say I have only one direction, that is a unidirectional normal stress, sigma naught. Okay. Now I want to know. So this is the x. This is the x direction. This is the y direction. I'm interested in this capital X, capital Y, which is making 45 degree from the x-axis. Okay. For this, I am interested in finding out how this element, the state of stress on this element look like. So this is the 45 degree. So when it is 45 degree, what is the significance of this? So that is my question. Okay. Now, if I want to draw the Mohr circle for this, I can easily do that because this is only the value is sigma naught here. The other value, these are the principal values also. This is equal to sigma 1, sigma 2 is equal to 0. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
When a bar is subjected to uniaxial tension or compression, they are the principal stresses because you are not applying any shear stress, right? Therefore, that line itself is a principal direction. So I can draw this Mohr circle. The center will be sigma naught by 2 and the radius is also equal to sigma naught by 2. This is R center. Center is at sigma naught by 2 comma 0 and the radius is equal to sigma naught by 2. Okay. Now, what are the values of sigma capital X, sigma capital Y and tau capital XY? Sigma capital, sorry?
So sigma naught by 2.
Yeah, sigma X, same procedure we follow, sigma X plus sigma Y by 2 plus sigma X minus sigma Y by 2 cos 2 theta plus tau XY sine 2 theta. That I get this value of sigma X is equal to sigma naught by 2, sigma Y is also equal to sigma naught by 2 and tau XY will be equal to minus of sigma X minus sigma Y by 2 sine 2 theta plus cos 2 theta into tau xy. That is, this is equal to 0 because the angle is 45 degree, theta is 40. So I get here this is equal to minus of sigma naught by 2. Okay, so that's what is our problem now. I have this is sigma naught by 2. This is also sigma naught by 2. This is sigma naught by 2. Okay, and the shear stress value is also equal to sigma naught by 2. So this is the state of stress. All values are same. The shear stress, the normal stress, principal stress is sigma naught by 2 in both the directions. So this is about 45 degree. Okay, so can we get the same detail in the Mohr circle? Can we explain the same thing?
Yes, sir.
So can we get what is sigma 1, sigma 2 we have done. So now the question is this sigma 1, sigma 2 axis, this is also the given state of stress, right? This is also corresponding to the given state of stress because theta p will be 0. Theta p will be 0, right? This for this I can say what is tan 2 theta p? That is tau xy divided by 2 tau xy divided by sigma x minus sigma y will be equal to 0. That means x and sigma, the principal directions are coinciding. Therefore, this is the given state of this line represents the given plane, right? The horizontal axis. Now, when I want to know for the 45 degree rotated plane, so I have to rotate it by 90 degree on the Mohr circle, 2 theta, right? So in which direction I make this rotation? Sigma axis? Clockwise. Clockwise. So this line represents this state of stress, 45 degree rotated state of stress. So this is xy. Correct? This is x, y. Now this becomes x, this becomes y. Now can you tell me what is the value of sigma capital X from this? What is the value of sigma capital Y? What is tau capital XY? This you know is actually represented by sigma x comma tau xy. This you know that it is sigma capital Y minus tau xy. Therefore, now it is very simple because we have already marked this. This sigma capital X has the coordinate of sigma naught by 2 and tau capital XY is equal to minus sigma naught by 2 here. Therefore, it is very easy to represent it in this manner or with the help of Morse circle also. Now there is a significance of taking this 45 degree also. That is because, let's say, have you seen any material? Let's say I have a small rod like this. Now I apply some load on this so that it breaks, and assume that this is a ductile material. This is a ductile material. So can you tell me what is the direction of the failure plane? Some load I apply till it breaks. What is the direction of the failure plane? Roughly,
45 degree because maximum shear stress.
it breaks like this, correct? Or possible that it may break like this also. Okay. So why should it happen like this? Because the ductile material fails by shear stress. So now on a problem like this, when I am only applying a normal stress like this, here also P by A will be my sigma naught. P by A will be sigma naught. So it is failing by shear stress means that in which direction the shear stress is maximum? That is in this direction. This is the direction tau max, that is equal to sigma naught by 2. It's minus or plus, but the value is same, right? Sigma naught by 2. So if the material is failing by shear, then it fails at a plane where you have a maximum shear stress. In this case, the maximum shear stress at a 45 degree plane. Therefore, the failure is like this. Now let us consider another situation where I have like this situation like this. This is the element. It is just subjected to shear like this. Let's say this is equal to tau naught. Okay. Can you tell me now what are the principal stresses for this? This is what we call it as pure shear. Pure shear. Now I would like to know what is the state of stress on a 45 degree plane. This is 45 degree plane, just given a rotation. Now we want to know what is the state of stress on this plane. Okay. So what is the state of stress on this particular plane when I rotate by 45 degree? So I can take help of Moore circle also. What is the center of Moore circle?
Origin.
0. Origin. What is the radius? Am I correct? What is the radius equal to?
Tau naught.
Tau naught.
Tau naught. So that means I can draw the circle. Okay, this is tau naught. This is minus tau naught. This is sigma 1. This is sigma 2. So which line here corresponds to the given state of stress? The pure shear. You know that this is tau max, right?
Vertical line.
Vertical line. This line corresponds to the xy.
Y.
Correct. This is a, this is x. This is y. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Then what is the at 45 degree? What is the state of stress? That means
Horizontal.
you look here. This is the horizontal line. So what is the state of stress on this line? Normal stress is sigma 1 and minus sigma, sigma 1 and sigma 2, right? Along the x direction, what is the stress? Along the capital X direction. On this direction, what is the direction of stress and what is the value of stress?
Sigma.
Tau naught.
Tau naught, that is sigma 1, right? This is equal to sigma 1, which is equal to tau naught. And what is the direction of stress on the other directions? Sigma 2. This is sigma 2,
Compare.
right? This is sigma 2, that is equal to minus tau naught. So these are also, this is also, they are equivalent, right? When you rotate any pure shear state by 45-degree line, 45-degree angle. So this is also called as pure shear condition because they are equivalent. Agree? Now let me come to another situation where I have a bar like this. I have a bar like this and it is subject. There is some delay in my device. Okay. So now I am applying the same kind of uniaxial tension like this. Let's say P by A, that is equal to sigma naught. Okay. Let's assume that this material is brittle material. Brittle material. You just take a piece of chalk and just pull it till it breaks. Right. So what is the plane of failure? How does it plane? How does it fail?
So 45 degrees lapse through.
True. Are you sure? Just pull the piece of chalk.
Almost perpendicular to the line of force.
Almost they are perpendicular to the, like this. This is a failure plane. It is almost perpendicular to the direction of the load. So what can you conclude from this? If it is perpendicular to this, means what?
It fails due to tensile stress.
It fails due to
Tensile stress.
it fails by normal stress. Fails by normal stress. So when you twist it and break, then what happens is that it breaks. If you take a brittle material piece of chalk and twist it till it breaks, there is an angle of 45 degree. Because when you have right, so when I take the same chalk and I twist it, then it breaks like this. Have you observed this? Have you observed this?
Yes.
Okay, so why should it break like this? Is it because of shear stress or normal stress? At 45 degrees.
Shear
Twist.
stress.
That means it is because of normal stress. Because see, this is the state of stress given by the pure shear, right? At 45 degree, what happens is that the normal stress is maximum. Correct? This is a pure shear. When you are applying a torque, there is a pure shear, right? So then what happens if it is failing at a 45 degree line? That means that it is failing by normal stress here also. The brittle material will not fail depending on the type of load you are applying, right? So it fails due to normal stress only. So here the normal stress is maximum, that is sigma naught. This is maximum, that is equal to tau naught. That is the maximum normal stress there. Therefore, it breaks at 45 degree. So here also the assumption is, or the conclusion is that it fails by normal stress. Now same thing if I take the ductile material, and I apply the torque, then it fails perpendicular. Any ductile material, it fails perpendicular to the direction, the along the longitudinal direction compared to the longitudinal direction. So what do you conclude if it is failing at 90 degree? That means it is also failing by shear stress. Am I correct?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
90 degree, it also fails by shear stress because the condition is like this. This is the condition. 90 degree also you have sigma naught by 2. Therefore, you can think of a condition that the material fails by shear stress or normal stress. Whenever there is if the material is failing by shear stress, it fails along a plane where the shear stress is maximum. If the material is failing by normal stress, you will know that it always fails along the direction on which you get the normal stress maximum. So these are the observations you can make by considering this type of problems. Now I will put another condition. Let's say
Excuse me,
my,
sir.
sorry, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, what is?
Sir, I'm not able to understand how does the brittle material, when it is breaking at 45-degree angle, still we are seeing it is normal stress behind it.
Okay, so pure shear means it is, for example, if a brittle material is twisted, right? This case you are asking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what happens is that the state of stress when you have a material, the piece of chalk twisted, right? So it fails by 45 degree. That means what is happening at 45 degree? The state of stress given by this is actually pure shear, right? Pure shear. That means it represents this type of state of stress. If that is the case, if this is the state of stress, if it is failing by normal stress, what will be the state of stress at 45 degree rotation? This is the 45 degree plane, right?
Sir,
That means the normal
yes.
stress is higher at a 45 degree plane, which is equal to the shear magnitude of the shear stress.
Okay, sir.
Therefore, any failure because of the normal stress is happening, it is at 45 degree because at 45 degree plane, the normal stress is higher or the maximum, which is equal to the magnitude of the applied shear stress. So that is the main reason. So even here also we said that at 45 degree it is failing by shear stress and the failure is occurring at a 45 degree plane. From this Mohr circle we know that at 45 degree plane the shear stress is higher. Right?
Yes, sir.
So that's why we say that the material failure point can be, or failure plane can be obtained by knowing the nature of the loading or nature of the material. If you know, then it is very helpful if you want to know this. So one last condition I want to discuss is this one. Let's say I have sigma naught here, sigma naught, no shear stress applied. So what will happen at 45 degree? Or can we write the Mohr circle for this? What is the Mohr? How does the Mohr circle look like? What is the radius? Radius is equal to what? Sigma x minus sigma y by 2 square plus tau xy square. Right? This is equal to what?
0.
0. And where is the center of the Mohr circle?
Sir, sigma naught.
Not by 2.
Sigma naught or sigma naught by 2?
Sigma naught.
Sigma naught.
Correct?
Sigma naught.
So it is at sigma naught. So this is sigma naught and radius is 0. So what do you mean by that? The Mohr circle is just a point, right? Mohr circle is just a point. Now, what will happen if I rotate this by 45 degree? So what is the state of stress then?
So it will again be sigma naught and sigma
It
naught.
will be sigma naught and sigma naught. So that means you don't have shear stress, no shear stress at any direction. So every direction is shear stress free, shear free. If these two biaxial components of tension or the normal stress are same, then we can easily say that all directions are shear stress free, free from the shear stress. So this is one more observation you can have. Every direction is a principal direction. That's what we can say. If all the stresses are same, all the principal stresses are same, that means every direction is a principal direction. This is another way of looking at the problem. Okay. All right.